Climate change is no longer a distant concept. It is a reality of our time, reshaping the environment, economies, and lives around the world. But what does the data reveal? And how can we use this knowledge to foster meaningful change? In this video, we will explore the science behind our warming planet, its undeniable impacts, and the actionable steps we can take towards a sustainable future. Climate change is the sum of millions of individual actions across the globe. To understand its full scope, we need to examine the data. In 2021, the United States emitted approximately 6.3 billion metric tons of CO2 equivalent, according to the US greenhouse gas inventory. This number represents not only carbon dioxide but also other greenhouse gases like methane and nitrous oxide, which have even higher warming potentials. This data reflects a troubling trend. While emissions dropped briefly in 2020 due to the pandemic, they quickly rebounded, highlighting the persistent challenges of decarbonizing our economy. When we examine the 2021 emissions by sector, a clearer picture emerges. According to the EPA, electricity generation accounts for 25% of total emissions, transportation for 29%, and industry contributes 23%. These sectors are the largest sources of greenhouse gases, each presenting both challenges and opportunities. Consider transportation, a sector responsible for 29% of total US emissions. The widespread use of gasoline and diesel has made this sector a significant source of pollution. But solutions are emerging. In cities like Oslo, electric vehicles are becoming the norm, offering a glimpse into a cleaner future. In fact, Norway aims to end the sale of gasoline and diesel cars entirely by 2025. The electricity sector, responsible for 25% of emissions, also holds great potential for improvement. Denmark, for example, now generates over 50% of its electricity from wind power, showing that a transition to renewables is not just possible, it is happening. These emissions are not just numbers on a chart, they translate into very real consequences. Climate change is driving more frequent and severe weather events. We are witnessing record-breaking floods, wildfires, and hurricanes that devastate communities around the world. In 2020, wildfires tore through Australia, fueled by prolonged drought and higher than average temperatures, conditions worsened by climate change. And in 2021, Hurricane Ida caused widespread destruction in the US, with damaging total over $75 billion, primarily due to the storm's intensity, which was supercharged by warmer waters. From 1980 to 2021, the US experienced a sharp rise in billion-dollar weather disasters, from an average of 2.6 events per year to over 20 in recent years. This surge is both an economic and social crisis, with recovery events stretching local and national resources. These disasters do not just destroy property, they disrupt entire communities. Recovery from Hurricane Ida, for example, is expected to take years, with the hardest hit regions being those already economically vulnerable. One of the most critical threats we face is sea level rise. According to NOAA, global sea levels have risen by about 8 inches since 1880, and projections suggest that they could rise another 1 to 4 feet by the end of this century, depending on future emissions scenarios. Cities like Miami and New Orleans are particularly vulnerable. Without significant action, parts of these cities could be underwater by 2050, forcing millions to relocate. Despite these challenges, there are viable solutions. Renewable energy is a cornerstone of the fight against climate change, and the transition is already well underway. In 2021, renewable sources accounted for 20% of U.S. electricity generation, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. This is a significant increase from just 9% in 2000. In Denmark, wind power now generates over 50% of the country's electricity, proving that rapid transitions to renewable energy are possible. Across the US, solar panel installations are also growing rapidly, particularly at the community level, empowering individuals to reduce their carbon footprints. Projections indicate that renewables could supply up to 70% of US electricity by 2030. However, achieving this will require sustained investment in energy infrastructure and supportive policies to accelerate the transition. Technologies such as next-generation batteries and smart grids will be crucial to making renewables more efficient and reliable, paving the way for a cleaner, more sustainable energy future. Beyond large-scale infrastructure changes, individual and community actions play a vital role in addressing climate change. Grassroots movements, from local initiatives to global advocacy efforts, are empowering people to make a difference. Every small action counts, whether it's reducing personal energy use, advocating for green policies, or supporting local environmental projects. These efforts, when combined, can have a significant impact on reducing emissions and building resilience against climate change. Climate change is a defining challenge of our time, but it is one we can overcome. The data is clear, the solutions are within reach, and the future is ours to shape. Together, we can create a sustainable world, one where future generations can thrive.